ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Bristol International Raceway in Tennessee for the NASCAR Winston Cup Food City 500. It is a very cool and somewhat windy day in the northeast hills of Tennessee. The temperature only 52 degrees and skies are overcast at the moment. Well, the cars begin to move off of the grid here on the front stretch. Let's take a look at this track in detail. There it is, 0.533 miles in length, 650 feet on the front stretch and back stretch. 36 degrees of banking in the corners, and the straightaways are banked at 16 degrees. Now the race analysis. We'll go 500 laps. The race record is 101 miles an hour. They'll pit for fuel at about 160, and the purse amounts to over $1 million. Here is the starting lineup for today's race. Mark Martin is on the pole in the Valvoline Ford, car number 6 with 124.605 mile per hour run. Jeff Gordon from Pittsburgh, Indiana, in the DuPont Chevrolet starts outside the front row. He qualified at 124.4. In the second row, it is Kyle Petty in the Coors Light Pontiac, car number 42. Outside of him in the second row will be Derek Cope from Spanaway, Washington, in the Straight Arrow Products Ford, car number 12. So the field has been given the signal now. 1 lap until the green. We talked about the 8 drivers that did not qualify for the race. There they are. They include Joe Nemechek and Butch Miller, Steve Kinzer, Strickland, Standridge, Mike Wallace, Jeremy Mayfield, and Brad Teague. Well, we got a lot of in-cars for you again. Rusty Wallace for one. Mark Martin has a roof cam. Dick Trickle will also have a roof cam on the top of his Quality Care Ford. Ted Musgrave will provide us with one also, and we'll be listening to him on the radio. There is Morgan Shepherd, and also one in Kenny Schrader's car. Here comes the field off the 4th corner, and the Food City 500 is under green.
Jeff Gordon ran on the outside about as well as I've seen anyone here at Bristol in the last couple of years.
He really did. That outside, especially in the early going, is tough to get traction on. Bill Elliott's caught up there way back in the pack and wants to get back in single line.
We hardly saw 2 groups here at all yesterday afternoon, but perhaps with more rubber being put down on the racetrack since then, we'll see 2 groups here this afternoon. It is Mark Martin leading, Kyle Petty running a close second, and here's the action from Morgan Shepherd's car. Look at this, Kyle Petty noses his way to the inside of Mark Martin, who takes the lead, and Cope goes to second.
And Mark Martin will go to 4th. He got caught up on that outside once Kyle got on the inside of him.
So Kyle Petty has the lead of this race.
Kyle Petty led the race in Daytona. Since then, he hasn't led, I don't think so. Got to feel good at the front of the pack.
No kidding. He's pulling away from Cope, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Ricky Craven, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Bodine, John Andretti, Ted Musgrave, Jeff Burton, and Ricky Rudd.
And there Jeff Gordon goes into 2nd place behind Derek Cope. Mark Martin trying to get alongside Cope, and he is, and will take that spot away.
Now let's see if Cope can get back down. Yes, he got back.
They had enough of a gap there in front of Ricky Craven that he could get back in line. Kyle Petty pulled away a little bit.
Yeah, sure is. Again, we talk about the spotters and their importance, but they're real important here because they can tell a driver when he can get back down into that inside line without hitting another car.
Kyle Petty'd run awful good here if he liked the place, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he did tell us last week he didn't like it, did he?
In no uncertain terms. Jeff Gordon, of course, dominated the race at Darlington last week, led the most laps before being taken out in an accident. We're inside Mark Martin's car. We were there for a moment as he runs back in 3rd position. Then comes Cope, and then the battle between Ricky Craven and Rusty Wallace, who won his very first NASCAR Winston Cup event on this track.
That's fifth spot. Rusty's trying to take it away. He's alongside. And he will take that spot away from Craven. Now Craven's going to get on the outside. It's going to be problems for him.
Yeah, he's going to lose some positions here because he just can't get back to the inside. There goes Jeff Bodine, John Andretti, Ted Musgrave.
And Andretti trying to get alongside Jeff Bodine. Jeff Bodine blew an engine in practice yesterday afternoon, hit the wall. Only got a couple of laps of practice. They were here at 6:30 last night, still working on that car.
Yeah, when he blew the engine yesterday in the final practice session, cut an oil line, and it went into the pit area, but it didn't strike anybody. Here's John Kernan.
Yes, Bob, that was very fortunate. Nobody got hurt. Ricky Rudd got into that oil, but Jeff Bodine, his crew worked till 7 o'clock last night, and they just finished that car up this morning. They had to replace the rear end housing, the left trailing arm, and all of the right front suspension, as well as the motor.
Here's the battle for sixth position. John Andretti trying to get to the inside of Jeff Bodine. In the meantime, Bodine catches up to Wallace and Cope.
Yeah, Rusty.
Oh!
Bodine is way up out of the group.
I think it must have got just a little bit of a tap from the 37 car of John Andretti. And Jeff Bodine is Darrell Waltrip. Oh, and Jeff finally does spin. Does a 360, and so far no one is involved except Bobby Hamilton.
He spun to the bottom of the track, but he too is going, and so no caution. Both drivers doing 360s and going right on.
Wow. You see Terry Labonte in the 5 car.
Bodine trying to get some positions back that he lost in this incident.
Do we see Jeff Bodine? He's caught to the outside. Now Darrell Waltrip has plans of going, and Jeff Bodine comes down. It looks like he and Darrell might have touched. Ed, what do you think?
It was very slight, if so at all. But anyway, Jeff spins around, does a 360. You say keeps going.
Let's see if we can see here. I think there was probably just a little bit of a tap from Darrell. He thought he would follow him. You saw his left front smoking as he tried to stop to avoid hitting Jeff Bodine.
Yeah, he was on the brakes, trying very hard not to make contact, but he made slight contact. And there down to the right on the inside of the racetrack, you see Bobby Hamilton spinning around, but he also kept going. On a cool Sunday afternoon here in Bristol, Tennessee, they're the top 5 after 18 of 500 laps in the Food City 500.
Jeff Gordon took the lead from Kyle Petty on lap number 40, and Mark Martin inched into second as they rounded turn 2 of lap number 41. He passed Gordon to regain the lead on lap number 82. But the real story was Dale Earnhardt, who started in 25th and gradually made his way past most of the field. On lap number 101, Earnhardt moved into second, but on lap number 115, he wrecked and was forced to head behind the wall. As the yellow flag waved, David Green replaced a sick Bobby Labonte in the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Now the drivers are preparing to restart as we return to the 1995 Food City 500 on ESPN Classic.
Jeff Gordon is the leader, Mark Martin second. The crowd rises as the green flag comes back out, and the Food City 500 is back under competitive condition. John Andretti is third, and Rusty Wallace and Terry Labonte.
Terry pitting on the backstretch, had a good pit stop back there.
Boy, Jeff Gordon got quite a start as he has put some space between himself and Mark Martin.
Now, a race for, what is it, third spot between, was a race between Andretti and Rusty Wallace.
I thought Rusty was going to get the position because John drifted high in the corner and Rusty got the nose under, but John held him off. The Kmart Little Caesars pizza machine driven by John Andretti, and now we're in the Miller Genuine Draft 4 driven by Rusty Wallace.
Well, the lap cars, of course, were able to go up on the inside, and that made it, some drivers back in the pack a little bit tough for them here on the restart.
There's Terry Labonte, who has made also a nice move to the front. He's currently in 5th position.
and started way back there.
Started 21st. He was the fastest second-day qualifier yesterday and had trouble during his initial session on Friday because of the inspection thing.
We saw our sixth-place car, Ricky Rudd, the tied fourth. And 28 car, Dale Jarrett, is the next car in line, followed by Darrell Walter. DW.
And Sterling Marlin is doing a nice job.
Yeah, he had a good pit stop as well back there on the backstretch and gained several positions. He had worked himself up to about 10th or 11th before the caution came out, and then picked up the 2 spots during the pit stop.
I wonder if the fact that Earnhardt is in the pit area, garage area, working on his car is going to have any kind of what's what I'm looking for?
Psychological
Advantage for how the 4 car is going to run their race today. Are they going to change their strategy on how they run the race today, the 4 car? Oh, and a crash down in one top 09, and the 23 car is spinning, the 43 car, and the caution flag is out.
Second time this afternoon, the caution is out. Both cars, however, able to drive away, but considerable damage to Modine's car.
And the 32 car also of Chuck Bound.
Yeah, he has a lot of damage on his car, too.
And we saw a lot of fluid coming from the 25 car. He drives directly to the garage area.
There's Chuck Bound, whose car is smoking, and here is a replay. Yeah, it's difficult to see what happened.
Yeah, really, they were so bunched up from the restart with lap cars entwined with those that were on the lead lap, and everybody jockeying for position, and that position they were jockeying for was the inside of the racetrack.
That's right. Bobby Hamilton, you saw, also spun during that incident, and Bound, like Bodine, has taken his car behind the wall. And there's a parts wagon. Well, they've got some work to do on Todd's car, on Chuck's car, and of course Earnhardt's car is still behind the wall for repairs after an earlier crash. It's Jeff Gordon leading the event. Back after these messages.